Hey there, Power Parents. Mary Catherine Johnson here, and today I'm going to do a quick little training on how to turn that naysayer in your life into your biggest cheerleader. Okay? And the reason I know how to do this is because I had to do it myself. All right, let's get started, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that as we go along. But first, there are two techniques. There are many more, but the top two techniques that I used to turn my husband into my biggest cheerleader are as follows. Okay, number one, okay, typically the conversation might go, why are you spending so much time in front of the computer? What do you have to do so much of that for? Kids might even come up and say, Mom, why are you always in front of the computer? Mom, why do you have to keep doing that? Mom, why can't you do this? Why can't you do that? Does that sound familiar? Those are kind of the comments that you get that are the indication that they're not exactly excited about what you're doing, or if they are, they're getting a little frustrated about the time that you're taking on it. Okay, the first thing you can do, the best thing you can do for those kinds of comments, and the jealousy that sometimes might surface when you sit down to work, the first thing you can do is create and stick to a master schedule. Say hi to Saren back there, my wonderful little puppy dog back there. Not too little, but she's my pup. But okay, a master schedule. What does that look like? Well, I'm talking a master schedule. Everything on this puppy, everything. If you do the dishes, time for dishes are scheduled. When you do the laundry, time for laundry is scheduled. When you vacuum, time for vacuuming is scheduled. Dusting, cooking dinner, preparing dinner, cooking breakfast, making lunches. You get the idea. Driving kids to school, helping with homework, paying bills. Basically, as many things as you can put on that schedule, at least in the beginning, to get your family in the habit of seeing all that you do for them. And that's anything. If you're a dadpreneur and you go mow the lawn, or you weed the garden, or, fix the sprinklers, whatever it might be, put it on that master schedule. And I would suggest, especially if you have younger children, to color code it. So color code the things that you do, whether it's household chores. Color code that maybe yellow, or if it's yard work, color that, blue. And when you actually have on your schedule that you are going to sit down and work, you're going to sit at your computer and be productive, color that as well. And when you get the next time, if you start that master schedule, the next time you get a comment like, Mom, why are you sitting down at the computer so much? Why are you always, I talk to my kids all the time about always and never. Why are you always in front of the computer? Why do you never spend time with me? Okay, those things don't happen. So take them to the schedule and show them, especially the younger children, so that you don't train them to be jealous of your business, so that you train them to support your business and show how much it impacts their life as much as yours. Take them to that calendar. Show them the color code. Show them which color refers to mom or dad being with you, little munchkin, or doing things for you, little munchkin. And that color will probably be dominant. Pictures don't lie. They will see, and they will continue to see if you keep it up, even just 1 month. If you keep that up, they're going to miss it once you actually get the habit of this master schedule. But if you just keep that up for 1 month, not only is it good for them to see what you do, but it's also good for you to see those times when you might sneak away and go ahead and work and put them in front of the TV. Yeah, I did that too. Or those times when you said you were going to take them swimming, but instead talked them into doing something else so that you could stay at the computer. You know what I'm talking about. It will be an eye-opening experience for you as well to see really how much time you're spending on your business and where you can be more productive with that time instead of passive with that time, and use it as wisely as possible, because Power Parents, time is our most precious commodity, and it is a commodity. It's something we spend, and it's something we make choices to spend every minute of every day. I'm choosing this time to talk to you because this worked for me. I saw the results immediately. Okay, so master schedule. I won't beat that one like a dead horse. Sorry, but I won't beat that one anymore. Do it. Okay. And then the second one. The second one is really more of an intangible thing. Okay, the master schedule is something they can look at. The second one is more what you can do. It is a skill that you can learn, and it is a communication technique. And in order to do this, you need to feel pretty comfortable with yourself. So if you're not, you need to look inside yourself. Okay? When someone comes up, let's say your honey, and says, I don't know why you're doing this. It's not working. You're not bringing in any money. Whatever the thing is that they're latching onto that's negative on your business. You're spending too much time. You're not taking care of the kids. You're not cleaning the house very well. Whatever they're saying, okay? And we know we've all been there. It's all been said. You need to immediately stop your defensiveness. Don't jump in. Don't be defensive. Don't argue back. Stop, take a deep breath, and say something like, okay, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. You want me to clean the house more, or you want me to whatever more. But you said this isn't working, or whatever it is they said. This isn't working. I don't want you to do this. Whatever it was they said about your business. You need to then turn around and ask, why do you think it's not working? And you have to really be a little bit vulnerable here and pay attention to the answer to that question. And if it isn't real yet, and what I mean by is this, let's say you ask that question, okay, why do you think it's not working? And they come back with, well, the house is a mess. Well, granted, my house is not perfect. I mean, you thankfully can't see the dust on the piano. It's too far away, hopefully. You can't see the dust on the floor. You can probably see the dogs haven't been brushed for a while. Okay, yeah. You can't see my kitchen on the other side of this wall, thank goodness. So that might be a legitimate concern. And you might have to tackle that concern, as I did, which was... I hear you. Yes, the house is not perfect. And if someone came over, I might be a little embarrassed about it. But obviously, as you can see, there's not junk all over the floor and, that kind of thing. However, there's a table right here. And if I moved this, and let me just go ahead and do that really quickly so you can see, that table has a bunch of stuff on it, right? And there's a blanket hanging from one of the chairs. And, so that's not perfect. But, it's presentable. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. If you would, I'm sorry. So it's a little bit legitimate sometimes. And I would basically say, okay, let's make a deal here then. If there are certain rooms that you really want cleaned, and of course, if me, the one speaking, if that's my main job is to keep the house tidy, then I would say, if there are certain rooms that you really would love to have cleaned, then I'll do my best to keep those up. But you're right, trying to start a business or grow a business or whatever it is I'm trying to do, that, there are going to have to be some sacrifices. And unfortunately, one of those might be that the house is not spotless. So, but I know that's important to you. So if you want certain rooms to be done, then I can maybe sacrifice and not do those other rooms as consistently as you might have been used to. Is that something you can live with? Yay. If that's a yes, then woohoo, you just got past that one and you hopefully won't hear that again. And if you do, then you can reference the conversation and say, remember we were going to do this, and you have to keep up your bargain, right? To keep those particular rooms clean. Or if then he or she continues and says, well, it's not just the house. It's also, look at the kids. They don't get help with homework, or they don't whatever the next thing might be. You might have to, again, don't react. Don't be defensive. You just did that one and you got out okay, right? I mean, nothing drastic, terrible happened. How can a reasonable person would not be able to continue arguing the clean the house point the way I just handled it, right? typically a reasonable person would not. And I think I probably should have said that in the beginning. This video and this training is for reasonable people. If you're not in a reasonable relationship, then that's a whole other can of worms that we're not going to handle. Okay, so but a reasonable person couldn't really argue with what I just said. So then you take the next one and you do it again. And really you're going to probably find, if there are more than 2 issues, you're probably going to find that those are still just superficial issues. The real issue is much deeper, and it might be a fear. And, in my case, it was a legitimate fear, because Mommy Loves had some financial difficulties when the economic downturn happened. This is Mommy Loves, if you don't know, was my first business. And it had some definite downturns, difficulties right after we had, with my husband, was wholeheartedly part of the process and on board with an expansion plan we had just initiated and borrowed money to create for the business. And then we're talking just a few months later, you know what happened. All hell broke loose. The housing market went down, and basically no one was buying my product. But I still had this debt. And then interest rates started going through the roof. I'm talking upwards of 40% interest rates. So that debt climbed very quickly. No income coming in and debt climbing does not equal a profitable business. So my accountant and tax preparer husband was obviously and rightfully gun shy of me doing anything more in business after that happened. So it might be that that's where the fear comes from. And it might be that maybe the reason you're also defensive is because you have that same fear. Now, for me, and I'm talking totally personally, and I know many other people went through the same thing I did. I was really gun shy. I was very insecure and not at all confident about my ability to start another business or grow Mommy Loves again. Anything entrepreneurial, I was really insecure, and I had to really deal with that. So his defensiveness, his difficulties with anything business that I was doing weren't really against me personally. The reason I was so defensive was because he was really hitting on a nerve that I had to. So when I finally faced that and I finally said, okay, I get it, I understand. Here's how I'm going to do this differently this time so that that doesn't happen again, so that we don't face that. Number 1, no debt. And that's number 1. I am not going into debt to start another business. Number 2, here are the tools I'm putting into place. So when you go through all the superficial stuff, you're not cleaning the house, the kids aren't getting what they need, whatever, all those things. Sometimes if it's legitimate, then face it and you can move on. If it's deeper than that, and it's because of a really deep-rooted fear, then you're going to have to deal with that. You can't just keep walking on eggshells around it and not chatting about it. You have to deal with it. So if you need more dialogue on how to do that, I'm not a psychologist. Please, right now, no, I am not a trained psychologist, and I do not profess to be. I'm just sharing what worked for me. And what I've talked to in the Power Parents Academy has worked for others in my same situation and in our same situation. You wouldn't be listening to this video all the way to this point, watching this video, if this wasn't speaking to you. So this is what we have found in the Power Parents Academy. And if you want to learn more about Power Parents Academy, you can go to parententrepreneurssuccess.com/Power Parents Academy, and it'll tell you all about that. So this is proven techniques that is not from double-blind studies, okay? This is empirical data, meaning experience. So just to recap, number 1, master schedule. Then the munchkins won't be jealous. Number 2, communicate. Go ahead and be a little vulnerable. Ask some questions. Take a deep breath. And if you can't do this, if you can't face these fears, you're going to have many, many, many more as an entrepreneur that will stop you in your tracks and will hinder your success completely or even make you fail in your business. So master schedule, and communicate. Open-ended questions, communicate. All right, Power Parents, hope this helped. Until next time, enjoy the journey.